What is going on, y'all? Robert Sykes, KetoSavage.com. Welcome to week 9 of the Keto Bulk Keto Build vlog update series. So, week 9, let's dive into it. I've got a little pop-up on my thing here. Let's get that out of here. So, we are doing pretty much a little bit more of the same that we did last week, apart from the training. So, last week was kind of like a deload week with me traveling, and that kind of rolled over into the next week. This week, we are going hard, we are going heavy, we are hitting some PRs. That is the name of the game. Hit a PR today, actually, doing barbell bench press. I've been kind of structuring my primary compound movements such that I pretty much try and do as many sets as possible while working up to 10 reps per set. And let me actually just pull this up on my training so you can see exactly what this looks like in perfect format here. So today, for instance, we have got bench press. Did 10 reps at 95 pounds, 10 reps at 115, 135, 155, 185, 205, 225. Okay, so I have worked up to 225 for 10 reps. So what I will do next week is, rather than starting at 95 pounds, I will start at 115 pounds and probably do sets of 5, for instance, but then go up to, probably 245 on my top set. Hopefully be able to get 245 for 5. And then I will do all of those sets for 5 reps next week. Then the week following, I'll try and shoot for 6, and then 7, and then 8, and then 9, and 10, until I can get 10 again, and then I'll basically increase the starting weight yet again. So that format is pretty much what I'm doing for my primary compound movement. So deadlift, conventional, sumo deadlift, bench press, overhead press, kind of hip thrusters to some extent. I also kind of did it with close grip tricep bench press, sumo deads, conventional deads, hip thrust, squats. Obviously, can't forget squats. So pretty much following that format with all my primary compound movements so that I can work up to, multiple sets of doing 10 reps probably as the max rep count, but at a very heavy load with flawless form. So in order for that last set to count, I must be able to get it without relying on a spotter to help me get that weight up or anything of that nature. It's got to be a clean, perfectly, performed rep. So that's what I've been doing there from a training standpoint. Obviously, still sticking with the full body routine. I've been really digging that in the context of these higher calories. I think it worked wonderfully well in the context of a prep when I was at a calorie deficit, but I think it's also been working really well for me here in the building phase, consuming at a surplus. So that's what my training is looking like. And then from a volume standpoint, you can kind of see how that volume has been increasing over time. I started using my own app here. So this is the Keto Bodybuilding Training app, and I started using it pretty much in January. I was playing around with it a little bit when it first kind of launched in beta testing in December, but pretty much have been consistently using this app since January. And it has shown a continual trend upward in overall volume lifted. So that's been good. And that's not really changing, a ton of sets and reps and doing like a bunch of junk volume to get that volume up. That's pretty much the standard protocol I've been following, but with heavier loads the whole time. So I've been able to implement progressive overload, and that result in increased total volume as a result of just increasing the weight. So definitely getting stronger, feeling good there, cannot complain. Interesting metric here. Since January, I've lifted 3.1 million pounds. So kind of interesting. Anyways, that's what my training is looking like. When we switch over to the nutrition side, you can kind of see that, again, I touched on this a little bit last week, but overall calories have trended down slightly. I am rarely consuming over 4,000 calories now. Maybe once, sometimes twice a week, I'll consider going over that. But generally speaking, my average intake is between 3,400 and 3,800, I would say. So that's been my norm, and my weight has stayed pretty consistent around 192 to 194. So that's pretty much what I'm at there. I did the InBody scan today, and we'll throw up those pictures that were taken today as well right now. So these pictures are taken at a weight of, I believe I was 194 this morning. Let's see. Yeah, 194 even. So these pictures were taken at 194. And then according to the InBody, today's body fat clocked in at 16.8%. So again, there's quite a bit of volatility there based off of hydration levels. The last time I did the InBody, it showed that my body fat was 19. So obviously, you probably can't see this on my phone, but when I do a body fat, it drops quite a bit. Even if my weight's pretty much held stable, shows a decrease in body fat, which then shows a corresponding increase in skeletal muscle mass. So there's going to be a lot of volatility with a InBody machine, but you just kind of embrace that and look at the overall trend lines, and overall trending, everything's moving in the right direction. My strength markers are going up. I'm pretty pleased with the composition. Again, I'm at the higher end of where I would want to be body fat wise, but I'm going to be kind of not leaning down to some extent, but not doing like a legit prep anytime soon. But I will be leaning out a little bit in preparation for the 50-mile march and hunting season. So I'll be starting that probably next month in July. So the rest of June is going to consist of me consuming all of my primal cuts, kind of like I talked about last time. I'm going to eat pretty much everything that is on the bone, that is a little bit harder to track and manipulate, so that when July rolls around, I can get back into like a legitimate meal prep protocol and have all my food prepared in advance so that I can just be that much more consistent with my intake. I'm tracking everything now, but I'm kind of tracking retroactively as opposed to proactively. And as I would tell anybody that has a specific weight goal or composition goal in mind, always prep your food and track proactively instead of reactively. You're going to be more accurate, you're going to be more consistent, you're going to be more dialed in. I'm not trying to lose body fat right now, so I've allowed myself to track retroactively. Like last night, for instance, we went out to a Mexican joint that was right down the road from us, and I had nachos with Parm crisps as the chip substitute. And I tracked all that intake, but I didn't have my food scale with me, so I don't know exactly if it was accurate. I don't know exactly what the sodium concentration of that meal was, but I allow myself that little bit of flexibility at this stage in the game. But that's going to get tightened up quite a bit starting next month, so I'm just going to enjoy this month. Still track everything, but track things that are harder to track so that I can just embrace the fact there's going to be some volatility in those measurements. But that, ladies and gents, is a wrap on week 9. Everything's trending in the right direction. Hopefully these building phase videos have been good for y'all. I will continue to pump them out. Everybody always finds it fascinating to see what I'm doing when I'm in a cut and losing body fat and getting leaner. But there is a flip side to that coin, and I think it's important that I illustrate the other side as well, i.e. the reverse diet, gaining weight, losing visibility of the abs, the vascularity, and just putting on some body fat in a healthy way. But as long as the strength markers and overall performance metrics are moving in the right direction, it makes it that much easier to embrace that added body fat. So thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to y'all next week.